Hello and good morning from a somewhat brisk fall day in Oregon. It's temperatures in the 50s, but we're expecting clear skies here for the next, 8 to 10 days, believe it or not. We're experiencing a somewhat dry period here. Anyway, that's not why I called you here though, or not for the purpose of this video. I've been getting some questions about a previous video I did on the Datin metal fab Softopper cage for the Gladiator. If you tuned in that video, I appreciate it. I have been getting some questions and comments about that, and so I thought I'd do a follow-up video, which is what I had intended to do anyway, after the install. So hang in there with me, and I'll go over a few things with you. Maybe it'll answer some of your questions. Okay, so the black pearl's not looking so good today. We just came back from a beach trip, and I didn't bother to wash it. But anyway, I was going to cover some of the, or all of the options I chose for my build. But today I wanted to focus on two items in particular. One of them is this Datin metal fabrication rack over Softopper. Some things that I've learned, some things that I've done. I'm also going to talk somewhat about the Softopper canopy and some things that I've discovered with it. And so if you'll just hang in with me for a few minutes, hopefully I'll answer some of your questions. As you can see, the rooftop tent has been installed. I'll do a review on that another time, but for right now I just wanted to cover a few points about this rack. Okay, so someone asked me about the rack cross rails here. These cross rails here that I have my X-Bull track mats on. The kit only comes with two of those. A better view will be here on the other side, where you can actually see both of them. So I've got this one here. It comes with two, but as an option you can order two additional, and I would recommend that. In my case, on this side, could have got away with one, of course, unless I wanted to put a water bottle on this side. So you're going to need two for sure, and two if you have any kind of track boards you want to attach to it. Now, since I've installed this, I actually went ahead and did a little detail here. I got some black enamel, and I painted all the heads of those bolts. It doesn't take very long, but it really brings the top together. As far as the color scheme, it's a little extra detail you might want to do, and otherwise you might want to ignore it. Otherwise you'll have a bunch of shiny hardware showing, and for me that just didn't work. The extra effort I went to has paid off for me. So you see I've got the Rotopacks on there. It was no trouble at all finding holes to mount it in just about any pattern you need. There's all kinds of slots and channels. As you can see here, I bought these cheap Chinese nylons for another build. Hadn't used them since then. I didn't know what I was going to do with them, so I wound up mounting them here on the rack, and I'm still working on getting those wired. Running wires from the cab switches, either in the cab or under the hood, involves getting underneath, and of course running wires along the frame, and then trying to figure out where you're going to come up, either here between the cab maybe, or run it all the way back inside the bed. There's some access holes through the bed, so I may do that. I've also got a second one here, and I'll be mounting a third one, probably the aux beam 32-inch single row LED for back here. If I do that, I will do an update. Okay, here at the back of the Softopper, so far I haven't had any issues with it interfering. or the rack interfering with the Softopper at all. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me if I was still able to fold the Softopper over. No, you can't do that because it gets taller as you fold it. So the folding option is, well, no longer an option. But I did realize that if you remove these clamps, all four, she will slide right out the back. So you could remove those clamps and then just slide it right out of the back of the hole here. No trouble at all. As a matter of fact, my plan is to remove it eventually, because as you can see here, there's a gap now where this plate sits on top of the bed rail here, and it looks like the seal is actually kind of expanded down and fill up that hole, but that's a potential point for a leak there. We had it out in some heavy rain here at the beach on our trip in. Nothing in here got wet, and as you can see, I haven't taken quite everything out yet. One of the details I wanted to talk about the Softopper was this mount point here. This pin here can be adjusted up or down by about maybe, I don't know, three-quarters of an inch. And I noticed that when I snapped the top on, it was really stretching it. And so I went in and actually, there's a C-clip on the back of this pin. You remove the C-clip, but I dropped it down a notch. And as you can see, I didn't lose any tension, but that also gives you some adjustment as the canvas relaxes, and may come a point where I'll have to pop the C-clip off of here again and actually move it up to give it some more tension. But I recommend that if you use this top, you put it in, start with the bottom hole here first, unless of course that doesn't work for you. It did very much for me, and so I took advantage of that. But there is some adjustment there, which is nice to know. That puts less tension on the straps, that puts less tension on the snaps here, and I think it will increase the longevity of the Softopper. Now, if you remember from my other video, there were some nut plates that fit here behind these bolts, and they slide into this channel. Well, this being a non-stock channel trail rail system, this channel is quite wide, and these nut plates were designed actually for a narrower channel, and so I had to fiddle with them a little bit as you see, I've got these clocked, one in the down position and one in the up position, so I've got a good positive capture here at the bottom and a good positive capture at the top. If you don't want to do that, this is Unistrut, and they make channel nuts that are spring loaded. You simply put the channel nut in, give it a quarter turn twist, and the spring holds it against the strut, and then you just slide it in behind your nut, and you don't even have to worry about it. So you don't even have to use these nut plates that were supplied. I just did that because that's what the kit came with, and I was determined to show an installation video about the Datin kit. One other question I've been having, what length did I cut these rails? I cut mine at 50 inches, and these are the deep rails. They're about 1.25 inches by 1.25 inches square, and I bought 4 M6 by 20 millimeter button head screws. They fit right into the stock screws that are already here for the trail rails, for the stock trail rail system. They're already threaded. The only issue I had was that with the spray-in liner, it sprays over those holes. It covers over those holes if you don't have the trail rail system in it. And if that's the case, I just took an M6 thread chaser and just Rethreaded them is what I did. Just threaded the compound from out of the holes. So those were cut at 50 inches. If that's the same length as the stock rail, the instructions for the Datin fabrication bed rack kit are that if you have the stock rails, you have to remove 1 or 2 or 3 of the screws that hold it in place in order to flex it away from the wall far enough in order to get these nut plates in. I didn't have to do that. This channel was wide enough that I could just slid them in that way. If you're going to do this, I would recommend that you get the channel nuts that are made specifically for the unistrut, and save yourself some time and some hassle there. I would do that again. Also, someone asked me what the length of the front rail was. Well, as you can see, I did not put a front rail in. I didn't really have a need for it, but it would also interfere with the flap there that holds the Softopper in place. So I didn't bother with that. But if you're planning on doing that, you have the trail rail system. You'll have to deal with that. Also, another one of the options they give you is to use Velcro across the back, like has been done here on the tailgate. But the spray and bed liner is so porous that there's no way you're going to get anything to stick. I just went ahead and, as you can see, I used the provided snaps, and you drill a small pilot hole. They go in really easy, and it's really a no-brainer. The only other thing else I can say about the Softopper install here over this rack was that I had to reposition these. I had to slide them in a little bit, and I also had to lengthen this bar. When I first initially installed it, these were a little bit closer together because I could. Now that the spacing here is governed by the bed rack, and I did have to re-drill this hole and re-sink another screw into it, but it wasn't even so far out that the old hole shows. So you might want to consider that, or take that into consideration when you do. Now I can't get it on the other side because the screws hanging, the screw heads hanging up over here. All right, anyway, so now you see I've got the proper width here, the proper distance away, and this just snaps in. But that's another little detail. So if you've had your Softopper on before, you may have to readjust the length of this section of bar here, but it's really no issue. And everything else, the Softopper has been working out great. I really like it a lot. It buttons up nice and tight, and I haven't had any leak issues. I've only had one small issue so far with this zipper here. If you zip it all the way down, sometimes it doesn't want it. Well, see, it's working fine now. Sometimes I have to really get it going to unzip it, but other than that, it's been great. So, and the Velcro here has been holding on pretty well. I don't have an issue sticking something on on my paint because I can take that stuff off. That's really easy to do. So anyway, those are some tips and tricks and things I learned from this build. Go ahead and like, subscribe, comment. Keep coming with your questions if you have any about this this rack here, or if you have any other questions about the build. Eventually I'll be going over all of the options I chose, like the Icon wheels and the Canati tires. These are the Infab rock sliders with removable steps. Those were just some of the things that I required out of my steps. Those are a true rock slider. They're not just there for looks. The new wheels and tires just recently, of course, I've got the Diode Dynamics amber spots. Excellent lights. I do have a ham radio in here, and I'm going to show you that build sometime because Um, that is a no holes drilled, completely hidden, app controlled radio that I use. Control it with the an app on your phone, and it has a completely wireless Bluetooth microphone speaker, and so you could not find my ham radio in there even if you wanted to. I'll be going over the Rugged Ridge Venator bumper and my experience with that, and any other thing I can think of that might interest you. But I'll also be talking about those X-Bull, I don't hate to call them Max Tracks because that's actually a, a brand name. No, those are not Max Tracks. Those are the X-Bulls. If you do some YouTube research on them, the Aussies really abuse them, but they seem to like them. Anyway, so any other questions, feel free to ask, and look for some more build videos. I'm not trying to show off anything. I'm just trying to show, okay, I'm just trying to show off anything. It's an awesome build. It's going to be awesome. So, like, subscribe, comment. So I got a package in the mail today from Ed there at Datin Industries. This is some stuff that I ordered a little while ago. And they're probably a little backed up. It's been taking a while. Of course, it's been taking everybody a while to get stuff shipped out. But anyway, I've got an awning for my bed rack, and this is the awning mount kit that's got the just perfect angle here, I guess, for the bed rack here on the 2020 Gladiator. Nice hardware. Looks like it's zinc coated. So there's two of those, and there's plenty of options and plenty of adjustability here to adjust that awning up or down, get it in just exactly the right spot, so there's lots of flexibility there. And then I saw on the website that he had, actually I was watching a YouTube video, and they had some of these nice handles that I thought would go well here with the bed rack. Sometimes I like to hop up onto the tire to get something up above, a rooftop tent, or to lash down a kayak or something. I carry my kayaks up there too. Anyway, usual good quality, very well coated with powder coat, nicely made, good welds, good stuff. So I'll be sticking those on that bed rack here, well, like right now, because I've got this long box over here with an awning in it, and I want to get it off of my floor. Everything is starting to pile up in here, and that'll be just one less object that I have to deal with. So yeah, I'll be taking these handles, and probably I'm not sure, this past trip I was on, I did a lot of grabbing right here to like get up to stand up on the tire so that I can get up above, or I could put it here so that I've got to grab and step onto the bumper. That would work too. We'll see. I can mount them even there, or even there. The holes line up. Anyway, I'll figure out something, and I'm pretty sure I'll be talking about it in another video. But anyway, goodies came in the mail today, and I'm going to go ahead and put them on. So I got the awning mounts on there, and I'm going to go ahead and paint that hardware, blacken it out. I also mounted one of the handles here and the other on the other side. This will help me get up under the tailgate. Actually, I experimented with a couple of different things and a couple of different positions, and that's the one that seems to work best for me. So here's how easy this is to actually put a coat of enamel. Now I've got some really good enamel here. It's like industrial strength or something. Anyway, It just takes a coat like that. I put it on kind of heavy, and there it is. And that took me what, 15 seconds? So in about a minute I'll have these 3 done. So there you go. I'll come back here in a few minutes and make sure it hasn't run, because sometimes you'll find that it will have run a little bit from the bottom. And there you have it. Now I'm pretty sure these are zinc coated. I don't think it's going to be an issue with them ever rusting, but for me that looks much better. Okay, just a little fancy brushwork here to kind of smooth it out, even it out. Just make sure your brush is dry on the end, kinda, and don't overbrush. Sometimes you'll brush right through, and if you just tap it like that, that'll even out the paint. So yeah, that looks really nice. And always make sure you clean it with 91% alcohol. I like to do this when it's new, fresh install, because, well, they're already pretty clean, and if you hit them with some 91% alcohol, which is all I use, you can be sure they'll be really clean. So that's how the build is going. Now I just need to get the awning mounted, and I will do that probably tomorrow after I'll make sure the paint's all dry. I actually had to shift the tent over just a little bit because they were way too close to the mounts here, but that's easy to do. When I had the tent mounted, I had them use just knobs with lock washers, and it makes it really easy because you can just spin them off, and the tent's only 100 pounds. It's easy to slide over, and so I made that slight adjustment. So we'll show it off here once we get the awning on there. Well, good day again. It's a new day. The paint has dried on the awning mounts here, and on the handle, and I went ahead and installed a 78-inch awning by Body Armor. It's the Sky Ridge series. Don't know anything about them. All I know is that I got this down at Lolo Overland in Troutdale, and I've only got good things to say about the folks down there. I shop for price, and they've been competitively priced on a number of things, and so I have no hesitation whatsoever of going down there and using them. And sooner or later we'll deploy that awning. Okay, so no review would be complete without a summary. So, as far as the Softopper is concerned, I was really excited that they made one to fit the Gladiator. It looks like it goes on a Gladiator. It's what a Jeep canopy should be. It's made out of high quality materials. The zippers are heavy duty, work smoothly. I didn't find any need to go with the tinted window option, and overall happy with it. I love that you can roll the sides up and give it a kind of a safari look. I love that I can store a bunch of stuff inside and be assured that it's not going to get wet. And with the locking tailgate on the Gladiator option, at least it'll slow them down a little bit. Anything they pull out of there, they'll have to pull out the back. And I've got cameras everywhere, so that doesn't matter to me. So Softopper for me gets 5 stars, no doubt about it. The Datin Metal Industries cage over Softopper, it was just the ticket. And once again, Josh down there at Lolo Overland turned me on to that. He's a wealth of knowledge down there. And it's made out of high quality material. It's got a beautiful pebbled powder coat. The hardware is excellent. It is rock solid. It has a 1,000-pound static load weight. That gives it a pretty high dynamic load rate. What else can I say about it? It comes with some nice optional features like the grab handles, and of course the awning mounts that were purpose made for this particular rack, and they fit beautifully. So overall, for the cage over Softopper is what they call it, I give that a 5-star too. And as far as customer service, Ed Datin, who's usually the guy that answers the phone if you call down there, he is most helpful. Shipping in here lately has been a little slow, but it's in response to this COVID mess that we're going through right now, I imagine. It's hard to get any even 2-day shipping out of Amazon that I paid $120 a year to get. Anyway, I digress. Softopper, 5 stars. Softopper cage, bed rack, definitely 5 stars. If you have any questions at all, leave it in the comments below, and I'll be glad to answer.